Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Japa Diaries. Here on Japa Diaries, we like to document the experience of African immigrants in the diaspora.
Mm-hmm.
And we have
Another non-immigrant.
It's more of a perspective one of those who have immigrated and somewhat emigrated.
Yeah.
We have a guest. Who's our guest?
Our guest is family.
Another family podcast. We love that.
Yeah, I love how we started this podcast saying, "Oh, we have family and friends." What has this podcast been? Family and friends.
If you count it, it's only like 3.
Well, guys, we have our older cousin,
Our
brother. I don't know. Say hi to Jalil. Hi, Jalil.
Hi, Jalil.
Yo. What's good?
That's good.
Good.
Jalil, are you okay with the older cousin? He's our older cousin.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm okay. I'm okay with older cousin. Yes. That second cousin, older cousin. Yes. You know, family trees in Nigerian households, they get a little bit intertwined.
We could be here all day.
Yeah.
We could be here all day.
But we have Jalil here today because I think he brings a very interesting perspective to this.
Mm-hmm.
So I was telling Jalil about the podcast like when last season wrapped, and he was like, "Okay, so when are you going to get me on the podcast?" And I was there doing shakara, like, "Oh no, it's for immigrants only."
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "No, wait, all right, perspective." So you know how when you move and you japa, there's somebody's house that you guys always go to.
Exactly. You always have one uncle or some cousins in the US
that you stay with before you go and do whatever you came here for.
While you're finding your feet. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, enter Jalil and Baba.
Yeah. Jalil's house was that house.
Yes. Deep freezer in the garage, jollof rice in every corner of the freezer. Yes.
Normal.
Yes. Indomie on the top of the fridge, all of this.
So yeah, we wanted to get that perspective of, I guess, what it's like receiving African immigrants and how that influenced you as a person. But we'll start from an origin story. We'll start with your dad's origin story. How much do you know? In fact, knowing your dad, you definitely know this story. So I'm going to ask you to tell us the story of how your dad ended up in the US.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll give the short version so that we can really get into the perspective. So my dad grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria. And for reference of the family tree, my father is he is your father's uncle. So
correct.
Yeah.
Technically, that's how it goes. So growing up in Lagos, Nigeria, he lived with a multitude of relatives, and at a point in time in his childhood, he lived with your guys' grandfather, Big Daddy. And in and around the time where my dad was preparing himself for, college and, his track towards his professional life, he wanted to move abroad and specifically to the United States. And in our lineage on, my dad's line, your guys' grandfather's line, my dad being the youngest of 10, he was the only one to immigrate, the first one, I should say, to immigrate to the States. And he met my mom in the Bay Area, Northern California. And she's from the Bay Area. And then they started our family. And in the Bay Area, they quickly moved to Davis, California. And that's where it all kind of started, as far as the house that everybody in our family knows, as far as the first stop off the boat, if you will. Yep. Everyone in our family knows that. And my dad's, you have to pass through us, and you have to graduate from Linden Lane. You have to. So, but for my dad, it was all about, being the first one to come to the United States, to make sure that he was doing anything and everything that he could to bring relatives that wanted to come to the States, and provide more opportunity. It was all about team playing for him. So I'll stop there for level setting purposes.
That's so sweet.
So you said your mom was from California as well, right?
Yep.
Yeah, but it already sounds like you had a pretty African upbringing with, freezer in
The
the
Indomie on the fridge set it for me.
yeah. With a freezer in the
Of
garage, all
course.
that kind of thing. So like growing up, you knew very early that you were a Nigerian and this was a Nigerian household. So like how did your dad and your parents actually instill that in you guys? When did you start coming aware of, okay, this is
Who I am.
this is a little bit of Nigeria. It's not like everyone else's household, you know?
Yeah, as far as I can remember who I was, I knew our household as a Nigerian household. But it all was, embedded within the ethos of how my parents created our household. We mutually shared in my mom's African American culture and our Nigerian Yoruba culture. So we would spend a lot of our weekends in Vallejo, California, where my mom was from, so that we were in tune with the African American roots, and then anything and everything about our Nigerian household and our Anibaba culture as a family was deeply embedded within us from, the beginning of our consciousness. And a lot of it comes through what we're talking about as far as having, relatives like your parents, you two individuals living with us. You can go down the line of how many Anibaba descendants lived with us for
we're gonna get to that.
a long period of time. So it never felt like to me that I was growing up in California, distant from who I am as a Yoruba man. So, and that's all testament to the open mind that both of my parents had in terms of making sure our family is in fact that extremely inclusive to all of our relatives.
Yeah. So you knew nothing else. It's just who you've been.
Yeah.
And for context, like, let me tell you how Nigerian his dad is. Every time I spend time at your house, I wake up to a talking drum. Like I wake up to a talking drum. Uncle is just going at it.
Yeah. He brought Nigeria with him. Really.
He did. It never left him. Okay, so I'm trying to give a timeline. Can I cast your age? What year were you born?
Of course. I'm October 19th, 1988.
Okay.
I'm 34.
When do you remember receiving your first? What do you remember the first person that came to your house, and what did your dad tell you guys was happening?
Yeah, was there a conversation about it, or so just showed up at home?
So the first that I remember, I can't even remember when people started to come and either live or stay with us. For example, when we're talking about if I go through old photo albums, there are pictures of Big Daddy carrying me in San Francisco. And for reference, Big Daddy is their grandfather,
our grandpa,
my uncle, the firstborn on my parents' line. So it's literally been from the beginning, and it's been intentional for my parents. They wanted us to not only know who we are, but live who we truly are. But as far as the first that I can really remember, it probably would be Uncle Tony Antonio. So he lived with us, and this is Uncle Tony is on my dad's mother's side, the Antonios. He lived with us early on, even when we were in Southern California before we moved up to Northern California. So this is probably when I'm about 3 turning 4. And then when we moved up to Northern California, he moved and stayed with us as well. And so for me, that really was kind of the time where it wasn't disconnected. It wasn't like a visitor. This is just our house. This is how it
Somebody
is.
who just lived here.
And then when I was about right after Uncle Tony was living with us, my dad's mom came and lived with us as well. And then she stayed for the rest of her life with us. So from 4 years old on, there were relatives that were living with us. And, for me, I wouldn't have had it any other way because I didn't know any better.
Yeah. That's the only experience you have, is just having that, like, expansive multi-generational home.
Yeah.
That's pretty
It must have
interesting.
even felt awkward if there wasn't,
One extra
someone,
person in the house.
like what's going
Yeah.
on?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the in between stages, it was like, Daddy, when is so and so coming next? And that was always kind of, if there's like an in between, my dad was already planning for
who's coming next,
for who's coming next, whether it be cousin Ty, whether it be Auntie BC, whether it be your parents, whether it be you two individual, whatever it was. And don't forget, I remember when you were born, Abimisola. I remember.
Oh God.
Yeah, I can tell the story too, because it was. I remember it like yesterday. But yeah, it's that also too, in terms of the multi-generational household, and also too just multi-generational expansion of opportunities was very intentional with our family. Our parents wanted the best for the generations coming. So your parents and my parents planned together for Auntie Ronke to be in the States, to have you, so that you had your citizenship. All these things were very intentional, and those are some of the things that we're benefiting from, and the idea is that we create more opportunities for our children down the road.
Did your parents ever tell you their immigration story?
I know it. Do you?
I do. It's quite crazy. I don't know if you know this story. So
I know it from observation, but please do share.
See us telling you the stories. This is lovely.
And let me see. Right. I want to see if what I have in my mind is in fact detailed
what
enough.
Indeed happened. Okay, so my understanding is your dad. So you know how, I don't know if they still do it, but there's a lottery, like citizenship lottery system.
Trust me, we know the lottery in my household.
Yeah, so I don't know what year this was specifically, but like he would just routinely enter like all his family members.
Anybody
like,
could just think of.
Every single person.
If they had Ayin Baba on the end of their name application.
He has put them in. He has put them in for the system. But here's the best part. He wouldn't tell any of them. He won't tell any of them that he was supposed to use the system. I guess to like, so that if they don't get it, they're not disappointed.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
It makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So my mom is just telling me the story about how like at that time they're like, America is too strict, the immigration is a mess. I'm not looking that side, by the way. America's immigration is still a mess. I do not recommend you look this side. But they just get a call one day from the American embassy in Lagos that you should come pick up their documents.
That they have appointment, they should come and pick up their documents. My mom called my dad. He said,
what's going on?
Which kind of documents?
What are you talking about? And they get there and they're like, oh, that's congratulations. They should start filling out the form to collect their green card. That the brain started to burst.
No, my dad said thinking to himself, who
could have?
How does that call your dad? I was like, yeah, that was me.
Yeah. Yep. So like, that I think for me made me realize just like the character of your dad, like who he is, like to go out of his way to be like, I'm chopping good, my entire family.
Everybody's gotta eat.
Everybody must eat. And also, not only are they going to like eat, when they come here, I will be cooking for them until they are ready to go and start looking for food by themselves. Like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Let me level set. The story that you told is 100% true. That is exactly what I would have said as well. The one thing that I will share from our perspective is we weren't chopping good. We weren't.
You know what?
I'll be honest. We weren't. Yeah. And that was the to the character of my dad that goes further into the story. I know that maybe from the Lego side of the perspective.
Yeah, America.
Anything America, you're chopping nice.
Yeah.
Nice 5-star restaurants, all this. No. Yeah. I'll be the first to tell you we were struggling. And we had, jobs when we were young, and we understood. We had, I was 12, 13, 14. I had a paper out, take my paycheck, hand over to daddy, sending it straight over to Lagos. And at the time, before you could even drive. So it really helped to infuse us into the team nature of our family.
The culture of like helping. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why I don't see you guys as my cousins. We are brother and sister. I don't see Uncle Larry as my uncle or my cousin. He is an extension of my dad. I don't see Auntie Ronke as auntie. She's an extension of my mother, because that's how we were raised. And you sacrifice where at the bare minimum, everybody is here in the middle. There is no someone is way up here and then you just watching somebody struggle down here. So that's where it all really comes from. And my dad, he's the king of just, kind of making sure that people are taken care of, and he never thinks only within himself.
Okay, so let me go back to like actually hosting people that were coming from Nigeria at the beginning of their immigration experience. Ballpark number, how many people did you actually just see coming
in and out,
and how do you think that played on your Nigerianness? Like, did you get a new perspective based on the things they brought, the way they would talk, about Nigeria or Lagos? Did they have an impact on you and that kind of thing?
The amount of people, sure, but it was more so the people and who they were and the characters and the family members. Another thing I'll probably level set is that my dad wouldn't fill out immigration for anybody. Our family is big, yes, and there's so many people to bring over, but character and lineage and doing things the right way, that was the only prerequisite for my dad. And and again, you guys know, within our family, you can basically close your eyes and pick somebody and you're going to get really good character, doing things the right way, come over. And it affected me and my brother Jamil positively to ways that I can't even begin to describe, as far as, being in tune with our Nigerian culture, our Yoruba roots, our Islamic background as well. And for me, the biggest way I could sum it up is that, we were raised to know and understand that you have all of the positive role models that you need within our family. So, and I saw that through the way my dad lived. My dad is, in the most healthy and positive way, my dad is obsessed with your parents. He is he was obsessed with Big Daddy. He is obsessed with Uncle Ambab. He is obsessed with Auntie Saida. He loves Auntie Bisi from the bottom of his heart. And just the way he would talk about these people when we were young, before we would meet them. Nah, when you get to meet them, no, you have no idea. The first time I went to Lagos and I got to meet Auntie Bisi, it's like I'm meeting a celebrity because of the way my dad would talk about her, the way my mom would talk about her, the way my mom would tell stories about when they went to Lagos on their honeymoon and Auntie Bisi would take care of my mom, this, that, and the third.
Your dad took your mom to Lagos for honeymoon.
Yes. Where else is
honestly, get to know me.
Is my dad going to take his wife, his California wife, on honeymoon? He's going to Yoruba land now. He's going. That's where he's going.
Get to know. But see what you have married into.
Yes, this is, and it's like, of course, I had the benefit of having your parents live with us for a multitude of years, so I knew them really well. But when I got to meet Uncle Tunji for the first time, I said, "Is this Uncle Larry's clone? What is happening here?"
They look alike.
I think so, actually.
Yes,
they probably look the most alike. Yeah, they
Yes.
probably look the most alike.
So for me, I had the through the way that my parents raised us, I had the benefit of idolizing my Anibaba relatives.
Yeah.
And that also to put something in me that said, okay, I need to be positive role models for you guys and for the ones that are younger than me.
Yes.
That's nice. Okay, but yeah, ballpark, real quick. How many people do you think went through your hood?
Ballpark.
Ballpark.
How long? What is the standard of living? Are we talking about at least a month? Or
Yes.
Yeah, let's do at least a month. Let's do at least a month.
I don't know if I get 20 at least.
20
at
in
least,
your entire lifetime. Yeah, at least. Okay.
At least we could start to count. You have both of your parents. That's 2. You have Auntie BC. You have cousin Tile. You have Sule. You have my grandmother. You have. Do you count the kids too? So that would be you. That's Malik Beam. That's Yasmin, Jalal, Jamal, Damilola, Ashabi. This we can keep going. You have Jalal Sanyaolu. You have so many, but it was never about the number, and it was about, again, my dad was able to immigrate here successfully, and he was hell bent on making sure that other people in our family had the same opportunities, but also too understood the roadmap of how to immigrate successfully. It wasn't like, okay, you're here now, do your thing. It was, you're here now, you just started. Let me teach you how this works, how you assimilate into a new environment,
country,
but you never let go of who you are.
Yeah.
So as a student of the Davis Academy, because I did go through Davis. Yeah. So like it was very helpful in my experience, being that like uncle would like kind of show me how to like move through society, like, this is how you talk to people, right? And he would like always reinstate, okay, remember why we're here. The goal here is education. America is a lot. It's a free for all. There's all these opportunities. There's all these thoughts of thinking. There's all of this. You have to make sure you pick and choose. I kind of always remember like your Nigerianness, like have that, like, I think one of the biggest things he told me is like, if you can't like tell your parents you're doing it, or you're a little ashamed to say that you did it, then you probably
shouldn't do it.
Probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think at least in the first year before I threw it out the window, I was definitely 100% literally having those thoughts in college. I literally remember in college just thinking about,
your mom you today,
or even how uncle feel about this, right? Because like our African parents can be a lot stricter, right?
Yeah.
Uncle has lived here a little bit longer. He might be a little more practical, that kind of thing, but his values are still very strong. So if I can cheat myself by bypassing my parents, I can't bypass
Uncle.
Jalil. I've gone too far. I've gone too far.
Yeah, that's a word.
So yeah, it was pretty helpful. Had a lot of impact on me, because even after like graduating through Davis, I got a second round of school because I went and lived with
them for
Jalil and Jamil for a summer, right?
For a summer in Chicago.
Before I went off to college.
Right before Malik joined the business of stealing people's donuts and not telling people.
Let's not. We don't need to do that here. We don't need to do that here.
This is a.
We don't do that here.
Yeah.
So like a lot of impact from you and your family on me, but like. What do you think you contributed to those people's experiences?
Like what was your
role? Yeah, like what
in the
part
assimilation
did you play? Yeah.
Minus the paycheck.
I would say, what I contributed is in lockstep with what Jamil contributed, and it's again helping people understand what some of like behaviors or actions or the lack thereof really mean in American society, and how to find that sweet spot of delivering exactly what you want to deliver, and either your actions or the way that you're interacting with new friends or making them, or, in your job settings or school settings, what are you actually trying to say and do? And okay, let's help you figure out how that's going to land perfectly
for the American audience. Yeah.
For the American. And of course that goes, it goes without saying that our biggest role in doing that was within Sulaiman's immigration, because Jamil and Sulaiman, same age, they were in same classes, we all played sports together. So there's a lot of things early on where it was like, okay, like for example, when Sulaiman first got to the States and, was going to school, people had no idea what he was saying. Zero clue. Zero clue what he was saying. Not only because of his accent, but because he talks really, really fast and cuts his words. So for me and Jamil, we understood what he was saying 100%. So it was about being able to decode those things in real time and either, deliver certain messages or like say, hey, look, hey, this is how it goes for real. This is why this person is mad or doesn't understand the urgency in which you're trying to get your point across, or, don't do that or do it like this, eat this way as all this. Yes, 100% code switching. There's also two colloquial differences. There's a huge difference between American English and British Nigerian English. Yeah. So we would sit down in the house and we would talk. So they would say, oh, okay, so if we're leaving to go to this soccer tournament at 9:30 a.m., what time do we need to leave the house to get petrol? Me and Jamil said, what?
Petrol.
Petrol. What is petrol? Then you would say, oh, it's fuel. What is fuel?
Even worse. Yeah.
Still, what is fuel? Gas. Bro. We're talking about gas. Like, so all those things. Or he would say, oh yeah, pass me that biro over there. What is a biro? Oh, you mean the pencil? No, the biro, pen. Okay, got it. So the code switching it was mutually beneficial, where we would learn
you got to understand
British Nigerian terms. We would learn Nigerian Yoruba slang. We would learn, but then of course Sulaiman or Jalal or whoever would learn, how to infuse those things and all that into American culture.
I really remember because I don't know if I technically really went through Davis Academy, but
through osmosis. I don't think you were
honestly.
enrolled, just through osmosis.
Yeah.
She was taking online class.
Yeah, I was. And then I did a little semester abroad in Houston.
There you go.
So it was a period of time where Jalil was living in Houston because he was playing in Houston. And I remember when I would come home from college, probably about that time, we would have like conversations like this. I remember in the car, we would be driving somewhere and we would have conversations. I remember one around like the N-word and how you were playing soccer one time and one guy just did nonsense. But it gave me, in the same way, it gave me that perspective of like understanding how to operate in American society. Even though I was technically already in American society at this point in time, but like unlearning the old ways and like experiencing it from an American who's also Nigerian, so you trust the source of the information. Yeah. Shout out you. But I'm gonna get to my favorite part. Who was your favorite guest? Who was your favorite person to have in the house? No pressure at all.
No pressure.
You know what? This computer.
You know what? Don't worry. It's okay. Let me be as honest as I possibly can. And for me, I never had a favorite one because, quite frankly, it goes back to the beginning of what we were talking about. I was obsessed with all of you guys. And just the idea of, okay, Uncle Larry's coming, and this time he's bringing Malik. Oh, yes, Malik is coming. Now, Malik, we get to bring Malik to our soccer tournament, X, Y, and Z, blah, blah. Okay, so they're planning this trip. So Uncle Larry's going to come first. then Andronka is gonna come and she's
Mhm.
pregnant, so we have to make sure that everything, the bed is set for Andronka perfect,
Oh.
and make sure she doesn't hear any noise though, because
Yeah.
the bedroom, the guest bedroom, which was Elijah's bedroom, after she passed away, may her soul rest in peace. That was where you would, if you were a highly coveted
Guest
or an elder, that's where you would stay. That corner room, the corner joint, right? But that's right next to my room, you know. And me and Jamil's room, we had bunk beds. And if again it was in that gap where there wasn't somebody staying with us, we would be swinging off the bunk beds, jumping, playing Sega, anyhow. No, Andronka's coming. We can't make any noise. She's pregnant with this newborn baby, needs to come out perfect. Boom. Okay. So boom, now we have Beam. So for me, it wasn't about one, but I can tell you that for each and every one of you guys that was coming from Nigeria, you guys may not have known. I think maybe the elders may have known, but like I was watching each and every one of you guys, and each and every one of you guys represented Yoruba land in a very specific and important way to me. And the way in which each and every one of you guys have your unique personalities. And I was looking for your positive characteristics, and I was trying to steal them from each and every one of you guys. So what I can say is that for you, Beam, what I always loved was your grace.
Wash me.
Yeah, your grace, and also too though your grace mixed with a little bit of attitude.
Bruh.
That fine line. I liked it. I really liked that part of your personality. But
Thank
then
you.
Malik, what I loved about your personality is that you could tell in every walk of what we would do, you were in fact thinking about, okay, if this gets back to my dad, my mom, Uncle Jamal, how is this going to play out? And that's the mentality that Jamil and I've always had. So that's why you slid in with us like our little brother, no problem. I could go down the line. I think with Uncle Larry, your father, it was what I loved about him is his intelligence and sitting down and talking with him about literally any topic on an extremely high level, as if he's a professor of reggae.
I say that my dad is a walking encyclopedia.
Or cuisine, or Islamic culture, or Anibaba history, or Proverbs, or Yoruba language. It doesn't matter. It could be the history channel. It don't matter. He's got it all. So I picked one or two cornerstone characteristics. From all of you, and I tried to add it into who I am.
Okay. What was your least favorite part of hosting people?
I can imagine for the most part it's beneficial and you wouldn't trade it for anything else. But is there any like down or minor inconvenience to the whole process?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Like I said earlier, we sacrificed a lot. I don't think that people. Well, I can't speak for other people. What I'll say is that it really took a strain on our household. I'll just be frank, because at times Jamil and I had to sit backseat to our parents' focus and energy and resources even. And that took a strain on our parents' marriage. It took a strain on, our parents individually. It took a strain on my dad. My dad is the most charismatic, positive person I think I've ever met. But when we were growing up, he was under a lot of stress. His temper was short, and we all know like when his temper fires off, he is scary as hell. And so me and Jamil, we knew that what we were doing in our household was bigger than ourselves. But it definitely took a strain on us. And I think for me moving forward with my household, I still have the same Anibaba loyalty to all of our relatives. But my boundaries are a little bit different than my dad's.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, my responsibility is different, but yeah, it took a strain on us for sure.
Yeah, that's very fair.
That's actually
very fair. Yeah, like I mean, how can it not? You know?
Yeah, because something has to suffer as a result of everybody else eating good. Along those same lines, you've experienced this your whole life. Essentially, you are creating your own household right now. Do you think that you will be doing the same? And if so, what would you perhaps be doing differently?
I think the first thing that I'll say is I think my responsibility is different.
Yeah.
I don't think that our greater family is at a completely different stage now than it is in my mid 30s and it was in my dad's time when he was in his mid 30s. So you gotta look at things. When he was at that time, he was the only Anibaba descendant of that line that was in the United States.
In the US,
yeah.
Now you guys are here. You guys' parents are here. We are plenty. Slimon is here. He has his family. Antibisi is here in the States. So the responsibility as far as what the overall family needs is not heavily focused on immigration and getting into the door. So that's the first thing. So will I do the same things that my dad did? No, absolutely not. Because first of all, it's not a need. I think if I was going out to try to go do that, it would be forced. And so there's that. And also too, I think what our parents and grandparents have always wanted for us is better than what they had. They want a better life for us than what they had. And that comes, the responsibility is on us to be able to analyze our parents' life story, know it like the back of our hands, and optimize it to be able to take what we know and double up and level up on that. So there are things about, my dad's and my mom's experiences, both individually and collectively, that I just quite frankly won't do and or try. In the vein of like idolizing family members to the point where it's healthy and in line with our Yoruba and Islamic cultures. I've told myself that I'll never try anything that as far as family relationships are concerned, I'll never try anything that my dad couldn't pull off. No chance.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what?
That's a big ask.
Yes.
Yeah. And you're so right in like, the responsibility is not the same. Like the need for an Uncle Jamal does not really exist as much. Right?
Yeah.
And there's also like so many of us now too. So it's a matter of if anyone's looking to immigrate now, you even have choice. Where do you want to go? You want to go to Nashville? You want to go to Atlanta?
Yeah.
You want to go to California? You have options now,
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's done it.
This guy's single-handed.
He's done it.
Yeah.
He's done it.
Propagated us across.
He really has, shout out Uncle Jamal. You have to give respect for when it's due. It's you really have to. And I think what the way that I always looked at it, first and foremost, what I'll say about my dad and how he was able to selflessly create better future for our family unequivocally. He's now in a space where he gets to live for himself and for his household. And we, again, at 810 Linden Lane in Davis, California, through the late or mid 90s until the early 2000s, we laid the groundwork where we were living for team, for the greater family. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I know my dad wouldn't, Jamil wouldn't trade it for anything, but we're in a space where we actually can be more selfish in our individual endeavors, and that's something that you earn, and that's something that is it's part of affluence that takes generational years to get to. And I think my dad sped that up. You know, I think if he was more selfish in his immigration story in the beginning, then our family would have taken maybe 2 or 3 generations to get to the
where
point
it is,
where you can live in your apartment and you don't have to house auntie or uncle or so and so. Malik, same for you. You don't have to do that. That's not on you. I don't have to do that. And I think, if my dad was more selfish, you would have been doing that. I would have been doing that. Maybe our kids would have been doing that. And then maybe it's like 3 generations of Anibabas that need to struggle here. My dad made sure that it was only one generation that struggled for 15 years.
Damn. We should
go.
We should call me.
Right after this.
We'll be like, thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Do you think you would do that? Like, do you think?
I mean, if there was a need for it, because it's also kind of fun to have, your people from Lagos around. It's kind of cool. Like, I've had younger cousins who came here for school and all that. They had to stay with me for a little bit. A pandemic happened. They had to be at my house for, for a long period of time where we didn't even have uncertainty of when it would end.
Yeah.
And I was living also with a roommate too. So I kind of had to hey, bro, this is the situation. Like, this is what I'm going to do for him. Don't worry about it. It's all, do you understand? Like, I had to do that. I had to do that a little bit, but
I've never had to.
Yeah.
Like, I really think about it. Like, I think the closest was Okutunji's kids, but they ended up going to another country. But I've never really had to. There are not a lot of girls, one. And I think that was also part of why I didn't do the Davis pipeline. It's because there's literally like no girls in that house. Well, one, but even then she was much younger.
I think it's because your parents were already here.
Yeah, but I think part of them coming was so I wouldn't have to do that.
That makes sense. That does make sense. And as far as it's interesting though, because you talk about genders and our household before my parents got divorced, it was me, my dad, Jamil, Sulaiman basically, and then my mom, when she graduated from medical school. So it was like a frat house.
Yeah.
So it was easier for a Malik, for a Sulaiman, for a Jalal, for an Uncle Tony way back in the day to get in, to smoothen into that household and or vibe. But it was more difficult for the women, and you had to be strong because we were rough around the edges.
They are, yeah.
Because it was like a Yoruba American soccer frat house.
That's the other thing. Yeah, it was a very sporty home.
Yeah.
We weren't talking about or like really creating spaces for
for the
women's experiences. Yeah. So that's why when you talk about some of my favorite relatives, again, I can't pick one, but that's why your mom was so crucial for me. That's why Auntie BC was so crucial for me because they would change things. Hey, Jalil, come clean the bathroom with me. Come. You can't expect a woman to be in these types of confines. It's not just men that are living here.
Yeah.
Auntie BC would say, come. This is how when you prepare your eba, this is how you do it properly. This is how these are the right portions. This is how you properly fry your dudu. All of these types of things where us boys, we just Jalil, tastes good, Jalil. Just put everything together, Jalil.
What's so funny? I remember, I don't know what number this trip was for you, but there was a trip where they came. You came with your brother and Sule, and there was one other person.
Saeed.
Kareem.
Yeah.
No,
Kareem.
Cousin Kareem in Germany. Yes. This is the Antonio side.
Yeah. And they came to Lagos and they stayed with us. I don't know how long that trip was. Do you recall?
We stayed. So my dad stayed for 2 weeks. Me and Jamil stayed for a month. Cousin Kareem stayed for maybe 10 days to 2 weeks.
Yeah, he wasn't there for the whole time. I remember that. But I remember just like the way the house changed.
It was lovely.
Yeah, it was a lovely visit.
It almost didn't feel, that part of life didn't even feel real.
Yeah.
Well,
I remember
you
Cousin
see?
Kareem.
And this was so soccer and their whole everything is dirty.
See, I'm like, what is going on?
And then that was the trip that everybody got Apollo.
Yeah.
I got Apollo. Whoa! Apollo tried me. Whoa!
Yeah.
Yes, Apollo tried me.
The whole house.
So that's where the roles or environments were reversed. That environment right there, all day, every day, 810 Linden Lane in Davis, California. That was how we lived. So that's exact. Thank you, Beam. That is exactly how living in Davis felt. It felt like Lagos. I'm telling you, because of the vibes, because of the way we had family members. We were doing the same things we were doing in Davis as we were doing in Lagos. Same where 100 miles an hour. Oh, Antronke, when she would get off her shift, I know she told you she worked at a clothing store and McDonald's while she was pregnant with you. I know she told you.
Yeah.
She would come back, make that long mile walk come home, blah, blah. She's coming into the house. Zoom, me and Jamil are coming back from school, jumping off our bike. Hey, auntie, how are you? Oh. Hey, Jalil, slow down. Okay, auntie, can I go now? Okay, you run and you go. Daddy, I need to go to practice. Can you take me to practice? Okay, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You go, you come back on drunk and maybe cooked a little something. Ooh, auntie, this is nice. What is this? You go eat an egg. Boom. So it was amazing. And then you're learning how to be respectful of other people's time, space, energy, their hygiene needs, all these types of things, their emotional needs.
Yeah.
So you couldn't think only within yourself.
Yeah.
I remember that trip. Karim literally stand-up speak-ups, the wristbands. Does anyone remember that? But they were crazy that year. And he had like 2 on his wrist. I was like, oh my God, he just took it off.
And
gave
gave
it to
you
me. I said, rah.
brand new.
I said, rah.
Brand new. That year, that guy.
Bruh.
That year.
Come on now.
Oh my gosh.
That's how it goes. And the generosity is expected, and you start to idolize again in a healthy way your relatives. And that's what you pray for. You pray for positive examples right around you. This is why I never fell victim to social media worshiping. I don't know these people. My dad would always say, oh, if God forbid, we had a school project that will say, who do you want to be and who is your idol? One day I think I maybe put, I don't know, Michael Jordan on there. My dad read the project. He said, do you know Michael Jordan? Have you ever met him before? No. You're only getting a version of what that person wants you to see.
Yeah.
I've seen every single version of Antronke. She's seen every single version of me. Therefore, I have enough evidence to say that till the day I die, your mom has my respect, my loyalty, and anything she needs, I'll give it to her without asking. Because I've seen enough. She's seen enough of me. This is the mentality, and I believe the healthy mentality, where when I'm in a bind, I go straight to my dad. I go straight to my mom. I go straight to Elizabeth, my stepmom. If they are either unavailable or a better mentor is an auntie or an uncle or one of you two, I go to you. I go to Uncle Henri. I go to Andronke. I go straight to Uncle Ambab. I go straight to Auntie VC. And with this safety net, you cannot lose in life. You can't. It's impossible.
Yeah. 10,000%.
You got options.
10,000%. Yeah. I would say that we had a similar that culture and like value system is very big in our house. That's why I know fraud stars.
Yes.
That's why we're no fraudsters. Yeah,
Yes,
we taught well.
yes.
This was delicious.
This is good.
This was very delicious. This was a lovely episode.
I like that.
Like I feel like many gems were dropped,
Bruh.
many life lessons were given.
Bruh. I was gonna call my uncle now.
No, we actually have to. We have to call him.
Yeah,
after this, just
yeah,
be
we
like,
could do. He would be.
Thank you.
You bring him on the podcast if you want real info,
real wisdom,
real information,
Yeah.
real. You know, the last thing that I'll say is that, you know, taking care of each other is a mutual responsibility. So I never looked at it as like, okay, Auntie BC is coming over, Cousin Tao is coming over to live with us. She is the elder. She has to show me how it goes. It was that this is wild. Look at who's calling me. Cousin Tao is calling me right now.
Oh my god, I love you.
Yeah. So it's hold on. This is perfect. Hey, Cousin Tao.
Hey, Jalil, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah.
So can I call you right back? I'm actually on a podcast with Bimi Salah and Malik.
Oh, okay, sure, no worries.
Okay. I'll call.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi,
my
Tao.
everybody
Guys.
says hello. Okay.
Okay, then.
Okay. Yeah. So it goes both ways. I always knew that I was extremely hyped. Cousin Tao's coming. She's got straight A's in every single class she's ever taken in Nigeria. Now she's coming to kill the academic scene here. Okay, I need to be on my best behavior. What can she teach me? Blah, blah. I was expecting Cousin Tao to be this like boisterous woman, super strong in her behavior, everything, thick Nigerian Yoruba accent. She got off the plane, said, "Hey, what's up, guys?" I said, "What is going on?" I said, "Yo, what?" And this tiny little cousin, everybody thought when she was maybe like 20-ish, and I was at that time maybe 11 or 12 or so. She looked no older than 14.
Yeah. Into today.
And when she speaks her English sounds like she grew up here in America. So, you know, just it's a mutual thing where you give
just learning each
me
other,
positive gems. I try to put my best foot forward, and we all positively reinforce each other. So, yeah, you guys are doing great work with the podcast to tell our stories. I think it's hugely important because it helps those of us who were either born here or have been living here for a long time, the importance of remembering who we are and remembering our stories, our collective stories, because it's all one big story.
It is,
So it's all one collective story. But at the same time, too, it's hugely helpful for those who are currently immigrating and are struggling to know they are not alone. The things that they're going through are common experiences, and that you have resources around you to share in what you're going through.
I guess this is our version of helping with the assimilation
Look at
process.
that.
Look at us now. Giving back to the
Look at that.
community.
Look at
Charity.
Look at that.
Yeah. I love that for us. I love that for us. But yeah, that was 100% the goal of this podcast.
Yeah.
Jalil, where can the people find you on the internet
If you want to be found?
Yeah.
The people can find me at Jalil_Anibaba4 on Instagram. Twitter, I don't really use Twitter like that, but whatever, I got it. TikTok, same. You know, hit me up. Anything that has to do with Nashville SC as far as the club, MLS. You could tap in to either broadcasting stuff, on camera stuff, whatever it is, community stuff.
Yeah.
We out here.
Yeah. He's in his content creation era. I've been replying to stuff like, "Hey, try this lighting. I think this lighting will work better for you." That's how we work now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Help begets help. So I'm always open for criticism. Please help me out.
Right.
And if you are listening on Spotify, I actually want to know, would you do the same? Would you be receiving African immigrants
In your home?
Yes. Or how do you intend to give back? Yeah. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a rating, follow the podcast.
Do follow.
Yeah, and we'll see you next week.
All right, bye guys. Thanks for listening.
Bye.